Welcome everyone to today's product play live. It is May of 2021 and we are doing our second video for the month of May. I am not as prepared today, guys, as I usually am, so I'll be honest with you. I don't have my sheet all the way done yet, but by the time this video is over and it posts, then the project sheet will be ready for you guys to be able to print off, so you have all the measurements and supplies needed to make our project today. So we're just going to jump in and go ahead and get started with our project today. This is the card we're going to be making today. I love this card. It is so pretty to me. I love the colors against the black and white, and it's kind of different because it is what we call a slimline card. It fits in a normal legal sized envelope, so I thought it'd be a great idea to do this because of the sentiment I chose. You could do this as a wedding card, or you could change it up and do it as a birthday card. You could put money in there. It would go in just fine, and go ahead and do that. So we are going to go ahead and get started with this today. The first thing we're going to do is do our die cutting that we need to do for this card. So I'm going to bring in my Big Shot here, but first of all, before I bring in my Big Shot, I'll just bring in my platform and show you how I did this. So what I did, it takes only 2 cuts, or running through the Big Shot twice. It's really easy. I have all my different pieces of colored cardstock here, and I forgot one piece. Let me just grab this really quick. Cut it down. Okay, there we go. So here's your pieces. So then you're going to take, we're using the Stitched Bloom dies. So I'm just going to take all my different flowers and I just center them onto the correct color that it needs to be on. And then you have little centers here. So you have 2 sizes of centers. You have large and small, and I like how they did double ones so that you can cut out more than one at a time. So I'm going to lay those on there, and we're going to go ahead and run this through the first time. Make sure everything kind of stays in place. Actually, I'm just going to run it through the Big Shot off camera because it's so hard to put the Big Shot in frame. I'll try to do this without shaking the table like crazy. All right, so here's what it looks like after I run it through, pull things off, and I end up with my different flowers here. Let's see. Get that off. I've used my plate so much that things are starting to stick to it when I run things through the Big Shot. Okay, and then here's our centers. 2 different sets of centers. Pull all those off. And then what we're going to do is we do need to run through for our leaves. So for our leaves, I have just a 4 1/4 by 5.5, or excuse me, yeah, 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of paper. And I'm just going to put every leaf that is part of this die set, I just am going to cut out, because you just never know what leaf you want to put where. That way you have the option of using any leaves that you want. And there's several different shapes of leaves in this die set. And then we do need one more small center. So I'm going to run the small centers through one more time. So take that, run it through the Big Shot. Try not to wiggle the table or the camera as much as possible. Okay. do not like not having a magnetic platform because things are falling everywhere. Okay, so let's get those off, put all of our leaves here. Okay, there we go. Oh, I can't pick things up with my nails either because I just cut them, so I'm struggling today. Okay, there's all of our leaves. So now all of our big shotting is done. You guys will have to actually big shot one more thing. You'll need to big shot this label out of some Whisper White cardstock. This comes from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I already did that just to save a little bit of time. And we're gonna actually, we do have one more thing that we have to die cut that I remembered just now. We need to die cut our saying. So I'm gonna take this and, ooh, knocked my light. I'm gonna stamp my sentiment. The sentiment is from the stamp set Peaceful Moments. I love that stamp set. I love the fonts in it and I love the sayings in it. So, all right. This one says, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. That could be birthday or wedding, I guess, right? Okay, so this die right here also comes in the Stitched Blooms dies. So I'm going to put this here. Line that up. And use a little sticky to keep it in place so it doesn't move on my thing as I'm going through here. I will run this through the big shot and bam, we're done. Okay, now we have everything run through the big shot that we needed to. So just set that to the side. Now we are going to work on our flowers for just a minute. So I wanted to define the flowers a little bit more than just the basic cardstock. So what I did was I took the coordinating color for each flower and I used a sponge dauber to go around the edges. So this first one is Magenta Madness. So I'm just going to take that ink and go around the edge of the flower. And this doesn't take a whole lot to do it. The next one will be Coastal Cabana. It just gives it a little bit of definition as you put the different flowers together. So around just the edges of those petals there. Okay. Our next one that we'll do is the Daffodil Delight. You might want to have a wipe on hand because your fingers do have a tendency to get a little bit inked up here. All right, so let's go around this one. It doesn't even take a whole lot of ink to do this. Our next one is going to be the Poppy Parade. Sponge daubers make this really easy to do. Okay, there's that one. And then our last flower that we have is Pumpkin Pie. So we'll take that one and go around the edges of it. So there's all of our flowers, and we do need to go around the edges of all of our leaves as well. So I'm gonna start doing that. When I first, well, let me say when I didn't see this die set when it was when it first came out. It's in the the January-June mini catalog is where it first came out, and it overflowed into our annual catalog. But I did not see this die set at first. The stamp set that it goes with, it is bundled with a stamp set. I don't really like, it doesn't speak to me. I don't really care for that stamp set, so I guess that's why I didn't notice it. But I started seeing some cards pop up online, and I was like, where did they get those dies? And then I realized that it was this die set, and I thought, oh, I really don't like the stamp set, but I do like the die set, so it's okay to just buy the die set and not the stamp set. The interesting thing about this die set is it doesn't cut out any of the shapes, except for maybe this one in the actual stamp set. It's all kind of its own unique shapes. So that's partly why I like it. All right, we're almost done here. Just have a couple more leaves to go around here. One last leaf here. There we go. All right, so got all that taken care of. Next, we are going to put our centers onto our flowers. So I'll bring my flowers back in, and I'm just going to use some glue dots since these are so small. So you have two big centers. They go in top of the Magenta Madness and the Pool Party flowers. And you have three small ones that go in the center of all the other flowers. Okay. Now that we have those taken care of, we're going to take our card. This measures 7 by 8.5, and it is scored at 3.5. So I'm going to take and get that lined up. I'll use my bone folder to fold that. Make sure that it's folded well. Okay. Then I have a piece of DSP. This is the DSP that is the Hostess DSP. I don't know if you've seen this yet. It's called Pattern Party, and you get tons of different patterns, and all one side of the paper is all black and white patterns, and then the other side is all different colored patterns. And I am loving this. I have used it so much already, but it is a Hostess item, which means you need to have at least $150 in sales for a party or for a purchase in order to get it. So just keep that in mind, but it is so versatile. So versatile. Okay, so I'm going to take this. This is measured 3 by 8. I'm just going to, there we go. Line it up on my card here. Okay, and then normally I'm going to show you the inside of this card. I have it taped close so I could take pictures. Oh, that's only on that. Anyway, what I did, when it's a black card, like a dark card base, I always like to put a piece of white cardstock on the inside. So I did that. I will do that later for this one. But now we're to the point where we need to line up all of our flowers. Okay, so based on the sample here, I'm just going to kind of start to roughly lay these out and get them kind of where I want them roughly, like this. Okay, so that's kind of roughly where I want them, and just make sure I have enough space over here for my label there. So then I'm just going to take, I'm not going to put a ton of adhesive on the back because you're going to need to tuck some leaves in when you're done. So it doesn't need a ton of adhesive. You want to be able to lift up those petals and so there. Put this one tucks right in there. Red one. Take and do that one. Kind of right up here like that. I keep getting little pieces of adhesive on my. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move that aside for a second. Okay, so now we're going to take our leaves. Now this is where you can be, you know, creative and do what you want. Just take the different leaves and just kind of, you know, decide what you like the look of. You can follow what I do, or you can definitely add your own leaves in. See how easy that leaf slid under there just because I didn't have the adhesive all the way underneath the flower. So I'm going to do another one up here, like that. And then these ones that look like this, I like to take them, put a little bit of adhesive on the backs. And then I like to kind of take them, and kind of squeeze them together a little bit more so there's not as much space, and then tuck that in underneath that red flower like that. And then, okay, we have this one right here, which I'm going to put some adhesive on the backs of this. And this one's a hard one to work with because the stems are a little bit flimsy. Okay, so this one kind of is going to go over here and tuck in underneath the blue and the blue and the orange over here, kind of like that. Once again, I have this little tiny one. Remember this one? I'm going to take that one and put it underneath the yellow. So squeeze it together so those flowers are kind of, those leaves are touching. And then slide it underneath my yellow flower here. Okay. And then I'm going to use one of these. Actually, I think I'm going to use the fatter one and put it right here in the, tuck it kind of there behind the blue. And then last, like this one, I have this big one. I don't want to necessarily use the whole thing, so I'm just going to take rip it off and kind of trim it with my scissors a little bit and just use that bottom leaf. So don't be afraid to alter the die shapes to fit what you need. And then just slide that there underneath the orange. So then that creates our little flower cluster. And we need to take our label here. And sticky. Okay, we need to glue this on like that. And then our one that we die cut earlier needs to have some dimensionals on the back. Do that. And then just center it over this like that. Okay, then we have some embellishments to add to this. So we're going to start with these matte black dots. Literally, out of the whole package of matte black dots, this is all I have left. I have never used up an embellishment the way I have used this one. So it's a good embellishment. You need it if you don't have it. Oh, that's funny. Okay, there we go. So there's our 2 black dots, and then we're going to finish off with some opal rounds. You have 2 sizes of opal rounds, right? You can use either one, it doesn't matter. The opal rounds, these guys are a little hard to hold too. They go in the center of all your different flowers, like that. I love these opal rounds because they just have that opalescent look inside, and they make everything sparkle and look good. So, actually lost one earlier and found it sitting on my finger later, like I didn't even know it was there. And once again, I have used a whole package of these too. I've used them so much. That's how much I like these things, you guys. So if you don't have these, you need them. Actually, I'm going to put 2 more. Off the flowers. So I'm going to put one over here in the corner on the DSP, and then put another one down here in this corner on the DSP. Just kind of give it a little bit. There we go. Okay, make sure they're all secure, and then you are done. Remember, this fits in a regular legal sized envelope, so you can go ahead and do that. And thanks for stopping by today. Remember, you can go to my blog, which is myflutterbymoments.com, to print off the project sheet and to rewatch this video. Thanks. Bye-bye.